Good morning and welcome. I'm Cher, the Shadow Walker, and I'm taking a look at central Canada and central United States for cryptid sightings in the past 48 hours. So from March 24th to March 26th. So on March 24th at 11:20 in Quebec, in the Pas Regional de Sepchut and the Matwani region, a night hiker in Mount Brassier reported a large canine-headed figure standing near the rocky edge. The witness who was testing new winter gear captured a thermal heat signature of the bipedal entity before it moved into a dead zone of the cliff. And the witness noticed a mental push to leave the area. So I really feel that when they're giving you these pushes, they're just saying, hey, leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. And that was reported to the Dogman file of Canada because we know that they're not attacking anybody and they're seen in this area. If you ever go there, people always see them. And a Bigfoot seen in the Chic-Choc Mountains in the Gaspésie region, my family's home, at March 25th at 3:45 a.m. in the morning. And it was a snowmobiler. He was on a groomed trail and he noted that a giant silver-haired figure crossed the trail and it stood over 8 feet tall. And it didn't seem to be bothered by the sound of the snowmobile or the LED light shining on it. The witness was traveling at a speed of 60 kilometers an hour, and he noted that the creature's footprints when he passed that area were twice the size of his own boots. And he reported it to the Quebec Bigfoot Research. And there was a hellhound in Old Montreal on March 25th at 1 a.m. in Old Montreal near Place des Armes. A tourist on a late night walk reported a massive black dog with glowing eyes that seemed to emerge from the stone walls of the historic building. The entity walked silently across the cobblestones and vanished near the basilica. That's very common because stone is a holder of energy, and it's very easy for them to appear and disappear in those areas. And the witness noted that it left no tracks, and they reported it to the Haunted Montreal Digital Sighting Board. There was a spider humanoid in the James Bay region at 2:15 a.m. on March 26th. So this morning, early. A local hunter reported a pale, long-limbed figure skittering across the frozen shoreline. The creature was described as having too many joints and moving in a way that mimicked a wounded animal to draw attention. The witness reported a telepathic warning telling them to stay back, and they reported it to the community Mind Speak log and the James Bay security. It's interesting to see that these spiders are out. We had one here in less than 5 minutes from my house in the Drumheller region of Alberta just last week in the industrial area, and it was cold. And, you just can't get over the temperatures these things are existing in. And a Mothman was sighted at dusk on March 24th in the Gatineau Park area near the Champlain Lookout. 3 separate witnesses reported a shadow with 9-foot wings diving from a lookout into a valley below. No sound of wings were heard, but a high-frequency ring was reported in the ears of the witnesses. And witnesses were at an elevation of 335 meters. And they reported it to the Paranormal Quebec and regional ufology researchers. In Ontario, over the last 48 hours, there was a Bigfoot sighting in Ontario in the Bruce Peninsula near Warrenton. So it was March 25th at 7:30 p.m. And a local resident reported a massive dark-furred bipedal moving through the limestone cliffs. The witness described the creature as having a weird-shaped head and incredibly long arms that it used instead to steady itself on the rocks. The witness observed it from 150 meters through binoculars, and they reported it to the Ontario Sasquatch and the digital communities. And there was a dog man on March 24th at 2:45 a.m. in the Alexandria Eastern Township, so over towards Ottawa. A report surfaced of a wolf-like creature on two legs standing near a rural fence. The witness described the soul-reading gaze and feeling that the creature was mentally scanning their thoughts. And the witness reported being frozen in place for nearly 2 minutes. And they reported it to the Dog Man File of Canada. And there was a Mothman on March 26th at 12:10 a.m. early morning in the Greater Toronto area near the Don Valley. A driver, so at the Don Valley Parkway, the DVP, reported a large moth-like shadow with wingspans of at least 3 meters gliding over the highway. The witness noted reflective red circles where the eyes should be. And they said no sound was heard despite the proximity to the car. And they reported it to the Toronto Paranormal and Private Mothman tracking logs. And there was a spider humanoid on March 25th at 3:30 a.m. in the Sudbury region near the old mine trailing. A security contractor reported a pale multi-limbed figure skittering across the gravel road. It was described as having too many joints and moving with a jerky mechanical motion, like they always do. The witness noted it moved faster than any animal they had ever seen, and they reported it to the private security log and noted it in the Ontario 2026 Cryptid files. And there was a hellhound, or a black dog, whichever you prefer, in the Niagara Escarpment region near Hamilton on March 24th at 11 p.m. The reports of a black dog the size of a pony, so about the size of my dog, with yellow eyes seen near the Bruce Peninsula Trail. The witness noticed the woods went dead, that Oz effect again before the sighting. And pacing the creature reportedly followed the witness at the edge of the tree line for 10 minutes. And they reported it to the local trail safety monitors. That seems like it's it for Ontario, so we're going to move on and do some of the United States. So we're taking a look at Vermont, the state, and hello everybody in Vermont. So this is the lake monster, Champ. And it's in the Henry Port area near Lake Champlain. And a drone operator filming for a local documentary captured a large dark serpent shape moving just beneath the surface. The object was estimated at 25 to 30 feet long. The subsurface transit, the water was described as glassy, providing a clear silhouette of the long-necked aquatic entity. And they reported it to the Lake Champlain Regional Sighting Log and regional documentary filmmakers in that area. And there was a Bigfoot / slippery skin, and I've never heard that used before, on March 24th at 9:30 p.m. in the Bennington Triangle area. A solo camper, heavy bipedal footsteps, circled their tent. When they shone a light, they saw a massive, shaggy, gray-haired figure that moved with incredible silence for its size. And they noticed the Oz effect in the woods for at least 10 minutes. And they reported it to the Green Mountain Cryptid group. There was a dog man on March 25th at 2:15 a.m. in the Snake Mountain area, Addison County. The sighting. A local resident reported a soul reading encounter. They described seeing a canine figure standing on a rock outcrop, illuminated by the moon. The witness felt a telepathic command to stay inside. And the witness felt a sensation of static electricity in the air. They were really trying to get their point across to stay inside. And they reported it to the Dogman 2026 file. And there was a moth man, humanoid, March 26th at 12:05 a.m., early morning hours, in the Burlington area near the waterfront. A report of a man-sized bird with glowing eyes perched on a crane near Echo Center. The creature allegedly took flight towards the middle of the lake when approached by security. The witness noticed the eyes were bicycle reflector red. And they reported it to the local Burlington Paranormal Community Board. And on March 24th at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, a spider humanoid in Northfield Mountains. A driver on a remote back road reported a pale, spindly creature skittering across the road on all fours. It was described as having too many arms, too long for its body, and moving with a jerky spider-like rhythm. And the witness noted the entity seemed translucent under their headlights, and they reported it to the Vermont Paranormal Society. So in New York State, over the last 48 hours, on March 25th at 11:30 p.m. in the Whitehall, Washington County area, a motorist traveling near the Vermont border noticed a towering bipedal creature standing in the marshy area off Route 4. The figure was estimated at 8.5 feet tall with matted hair. It had reflective eyes that shone a dull green when the headlights flashed on it, and they reported it to the Whitehall Bigfoot researchers and the Sasquatch Express. There was a dog man at 2 a.m. on March 24th in the Sullivan County Catskills Mountains area. A homeowner reported a terrifying presence outside their remote cabin. They observed a large wolf-like figure on two legs peering into a second-story window from a nearby ledge. The witness described a feeling of complete mental paralysis before the entity retreated into the pines. And they reported it to the Dogman file. And a Mothman on March 26th at 1:15 a.m. in the Mid-Hudson Bridge area. A bridge maintenance worker reported a man-sized shadow with massive wings gliding silently under the bridge spans. The entity allegedly headed south towards West Point. Aerial transition witness reports reported a high-pitched humming. So that's what they noticed. They noticed a high-pitched humming that caused their handheld radio to static out, and they reported it to the Hudson Valley Paranormal Society. And there was a spider humanoid, or the Adirondack crawler, on March 25th at 4:30 a.m. in Old Forge, the Moose River Road. A delivery driver noted a pale, hairless humanoid skittering across the road on all fours. The movement was described as mechanical and disjointed, with the limbs that appeared to be too long for its body. And they noticed that it seemed to mimic the shape of a deer before it unfolded into a humanoid form. They reported it to the Cryptozoology Upstate New York thread. And there was a hellhound or black shuck, whichever you prefer, on March 24th at 10 p.m. in the Finger Lakes area, Candace Lake. A fisherman reported being trailed by a jet black dog with glowing red eyes while walking back to his truck. The dog stayed exactly 10 meters behind him, disappearing the moment he reached the parking lot lights. And the witness noted that there was no paw prints left in the damp mud, and they reported it to the Finger Lakes sighting log. So it looks like it escorted him out. And I wonder if he was a veteran. A lot of times they will escort veterans out. They're very protective. And that is it for Central Canada and Central United States. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, if you're out on any of the trails, please take a GPS locator with you. Let people know where you are. Check in with them. Never go alone. Have the proper supplies and proper clothes on for the weather. And remember, somebody has to come out and look for you if you're missing. So stay safe out there and have fun. And thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.